giving you useful and practical tips to help you make more money selling travel. This is the Art of Selling Travel Podcast, and here to guide you through it all, your host, Glenda Beagle.
Welcome back. This is a special episode of the Art of Selling Travel Podcast. Normally on every second Friday, we come to you with a Advisors on Air, but I just released a brand new tool that I wanted to make sure that you all got. So I decided to come on here solo. So what I released into the Facebook group, so you want to make sure you head on over there to grab it, is a closing rate calculator. So it's a simple Google sheet. It's not sexy, but that's okay because it's going to be rich with data. Here's the thing. When I'm working with travel advisors and I say to them, well, what's your closing rate? I get a lot of blinks and not a lot of answers. And I knew I needed to fix that in order to be able to help you to better understand your business. So it's a simple calculator or a simple Google sheet that you can then extract the data from and calculate out how many sales are you closing? How long does it take you to close those sales on average? What is each booking worth? Because if you don't know what your actual earned revenue per booking is, it makes it really hard to make some of those decisions in terms of how much should you spend on marketing? How much should you spend to fix problems? For example, next week, we're releasing Curious to Booked. That's our signature sales program. If you were to look at your close rate and see that you close, say, 4 out of every 10 inquiries, but of those 4 that close, your average revenue earned is $1,000 per booking. What if by taking Curious to Booked, you could shift that instead of 4 per 10, maybe you go to 5, 6, or 7 out of 10. And at $1,000 per booking, that's anywhere from $1,000 to $3,000 per month more, which is $12,000 to $36,000 per year more. Is that worth your time to invest in a program like Curious to Booked? Better yet, what if in that close calculator you looked at it and went, wow, all of my best leads come from referrals? Would it make sense to learn how to get even better at asking for referrals? Get better at priming your clients to give you referrals rather than spending thousands of dollars on social media ads that may or may not be working? Or maybe you look at your close rate calculator and look at it and say, wow, all of these inquiries came off of social media and they have a higher close rate or they have a higher earnings per booking rate. I need to double down on that. That's what data gives you. It gives you a path to simplify how to build and grow your business. It's not just, I got more followers. I got more leads on my email list. I got more this. I got more that. We need to know not just the vanity metrics, but what is that actually converting into? Other companies can talk about making you $1 million agent, $1 million this, $1 million that, whatever the case might be. But if you don't have the data to know what that looks like, it's all for nothing. Because if you look at it and you've got a 90% close rate, that's fantastic. But you might be looking at it and you might be getting one ghosting and thinking, oh, I get ghosted all the time. Actually, you have a 90% close rate. You get ghosted once in a while. And so instead of focusing on how amazing we're doing and how this is all coming together, we let that energy zap us and go, we get ghosted. What if it looks like out of the files that don't close, 20% of them are a ghost? And we let that consume us. Or what if 85% of our inquiries turn out in a ghosting? Well, I'm going to say we don't have a ghosting problem. We have a sales problem. We need to know where are people falling off. And that's that's what's going to come out of this spreadsheet. Like I said, it's not sexy, although I have had people tell me Excel is sexy. But the scoop is data is data. Data has no emotion. Data doesn't sit there and go, oh my goodness, I didn't do this. I didn't do that. It just says, nope, wasn't done. Yep, that was done. Nope, wasn't done. Yep, hit that. Nope. It has no emotion. It has no opinion. Data is data. And when you are in business for yourself, you need data to make decisions. So what is the data of your close rate? Well, you're going to know how many you're closing. Again, like I said, if we can get you from 4 out of 10 to 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 every month, that's a huge, huge revenue difference. And that doesn't take any more marketing. It just takes shifting how it is that we sell. It's shifting what the buyer's journey looks like for your clients. It's shifting what happens from the moment they raise their hand and say, you know what, I'm really curious about this trip. What does it look like? Right through till we get them booked, rebooked, and referring you. How long does it take for the average sale to close? There's so much gold in this. And in fact, in this next round of Curious to Booked, we are going to be focusing a lot on this calculator because of how rich the data in it is. See, I have travel advisors that tell me, oh, it takes forever. They're not booking. They're not doing anything. They're not this, that. They're not that. And then they're like, oh, wait, they booked. Well, when you look at this, you're going to be able to see how long is your average sales cycle. From the moment they say, I'm genuinely curious about this, until you get that payment on the books. How long is it? I've had files that have taken 6 months. I've had files that have taken 2 hours. How long is your sales process, your sales cycle from the moment they first raise their hand until you've got that booking complete? If on average it's taking you 6 weeks, and yet at 9 days in, you're saying, oh, they're never going to book. I just don't know. Like, I'm tired of it. Well, your average is 6 weeks. Now, the flip to that, and this is something else we had to work on, is why is your average 6 weeks? What can we be doing to shift that? So imagine we could speed you up, eliminate a bunch of the back and forth emails, get you closing faster, get you closing more. How would that affect your business? We need to know, what are your earnings per booking? Because when we know what your earnings per booking are, we can figure out what your earnings per lead are. Now, bookings and leads are 2 different things. Not every lead is going to book. So we need to make sure that we have an understanding of what it is that it takes in order to close that lead. We also need to know, on average, if we are getting 4 bookings out of every 10 leads, in order to get 8 bookings without shifting anything, we need to get 20 leads. And there's a lot of calculations that go into that. On a podcast, probably not the place to go into it. But when you know what you're going to get per lead, on average, it lets you know how much you can afford to be marketing to bringing in more leads. You're also going to learn, where are they dropping off? Are they dropping off because they don't want to do a consultation? Are they dropping off when you send the proposal? What part are they dropping off? Where are you losing out? Because that might be a sales problem. There might be something in the way that you're delivering the proposal. Are you just sending an email and hoping and praying that they call you back? I'm going to tell you that's probably a pretty weak strategy. You might be listening and saying, but that's how I always do it. It works just fine. That's great, so long as the data backs it up. In Curious to Booked, we talk about the different ways of delivering a proposal to increase the conversion. I will tell you, nothing beats delivering it live. And I've done that. That's how I used to do almost all of my proposals. How many are dropping off? What do they have in common? Did they all come from the same place? Did they all come from the same type of source? Are they all social media? Are they all referrals? Are they all a specific type of destination? Were they some sort of weird cluster that came in? Did they come in through this marketing channel or that marketing channel? Or are they all from this posting that you have? Whatever it is a specific type of trip. What are the patterns that overlap? You know, in every industry, they have statistical analysis of all of these sorts of things. We need to understand that as a small business owner, we still need to know what that looks like. If you don't know what your close rate is, how do you know how well your marketing's working? Or are you just going on the theory that bad marketing is still marketing? Or do you even recognize that it might be bad marketing? If it's not the right marketing for your audience, for your clients, it doesn't matter that it's great marketing for somebody else. It might be bad marketing for your business, or there might be a messaging tweak that needs to happen. But if we don't know and we're not tracking, then we won't know what direction to go. And this happens so often. We attend a conference or we go to here, or we go to there. In fact, I did an episode. Actually, I think it's coming up the next episode about a conference I went to at the very beginning of February, because I recorded that episode right after I finished. And so it was 2 days. It was February 1st and 2nd. I got 25 pages of notes. Now I could immediately go and implement all of it, or I could just toss the book, whatever the case is. But if I changed everything all at once, how will I know which piece worked? Will it work, or will I be dramatically different? It's a matter of changing one element at a time, one little thing at a time, so that you can see where are the shifts coming from. The things you can learn by using this calculator is what's your average sale price? Because it will also show you what's being left on the table. Are there opportunities to upsell? Are there opportunities that are in there that you could be adding things? Are there clients you're leaving behind because at 2 weeks in, you're over them, but yet your average close rate time is 6 weeks? Or do you have clients that are in there that when you look at it, you're like, oh, I haven't touched them in 2 weeks? Now, I'm not talking about like physically touch, but you know what I mean. We need to have those points of contact. We need to have those reach outs so that our clients are still engaged. Without data, everything in your business is a guess. And I don't know about you, but I'm not very good at guessing games. Give me a trivia game where the answer is a yes or a no, like where I either got it or I didn't. I can do pretty good. But if the game is try and guess what the person asking the question that they just made up in their head is thinking about, how they're feeling about the purple dinosaur with pink polka dots and yellow stripes and whatever all else they have in Candyland, I don't know. Because it's all a guess. Because it's not real. It doesn't exist. And yet so often that's how we look at our business. We're just guessing and going on emotion about how things will feel. I know I did a podcast a while ago about the fact that data is so important. When I started recording my statistics on a weekly basis, and I feel like I didn't change anything else. Mentally, I don't think I changed anything else. My numbers went up. The reality is my numbers went up because I didn't let the emotional side of it come in. Every time I could create some crazy wackadoo story in between my ears about something emotional, oh, I just got all these unsubscribes. Well, actually, I got all these new subscribes. So I'm up significantly. But yet I could choose to let those 5 unsubscribes bug me. The reality is I got 45 new subscribers. So why would I let that 5 bug me? But without data, your brain can take over. Your brain can dictate what you think or feel or choose to believe. When you work with data in your business, you can make informed decisions that help you move towards profitability. I invite you to use this calculator. You can find it in our Facebook group. I'm going to link it up in the show notes. So definitely check it out. It's in there as a pinned post. And really and truly dive in to what that looks like. And when you're looking at it, if your close rate is not where you want it to be, then you're going to want to get onto the wait list for Curious to Booked, because the doors are going to be opening next week from the time when this is live. They're going to open February 23rd. They only open once to twice a year. I don't have dates for the fall yet if we're going to do it, but they're going to open February 23rd, and they're going to be open for only 2 weeks. And then we're going to close them up so that we can work as a tight group to help you solve your sales struggles. If you have obstacles you're struggling with, if you have things that are just not quite working, if your close rate is lower than you want it to be, if your sales cycle is taking too long, we're going to help you through that. We're going to help you to stop being ghosted or to greatly reduce it at the very least. That's what we're going to do inside of Curious to Booked. Okay, until next week, we will see you next time on the Art of Selling Travel podcast.